Yeah.
And during their conversation about pulling a hit on D'Angelo, even the guy from DC can't really understand why you would do that to that particular person. Because he knows that's Avon's family member.
Yeah, and he questioned him too. Like,
and he questioned,
I know about this. You reaching way over here to DC?
He knows that's in the world of crime, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
That's your boss's, the king's family member.
Right.
You're sitting, now you got me involved in this.
Yes. He knows something fishy because they're not using their own people.
You're not even using your own people to do it. But, you know, according to this guy, he like, my cousin does work clean and, you know, it won't be no issues. Because Stringer main thing is it can't fall back on him.
Yeah.
So it has to be a suicide.
Yeah.
Now, would have been very interesting, and what if I would have wrote it, just to give it, even if it had been a director's cut that never made it, I would have had it to where something would have happened to where it wouldn't have worked to look like a suicide, to where it would have got back to Avon like somebody tried to make D'Angelo would still got killed, but it would got back to Avon that no, it wasn't a suicide. Somebody tried to make it look like a suicide, to make Avon start turning his wheels and say, who has enough clout to get in here to do that stuff to who has the nuts, number one, to do that to my cousin, to where it would have brought some tension between him and Stringer. Because I know for a fact, watching the season, it never crossed his mind that Stringer had done that.
Yeah.
Because you can tell by the conversation he had with Weebay. My nephew couldn't handle the 20, so he was weak. Yeah. Weebay said that's the sign of a weak person.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice for something to would have happened in that scenario to where it would have came back. The medical team would have been like, no, that wasn't a suicide. Somebody tried to make it look like a suicide. Therefore, Avon would have been like, the only person who could have done that is Stringer. And then they would have put them at odds earlier than it eventually did. Because eventually they went to odds. But I would have done it like that just to throw a little bit of mystery into it, because Avon basically was thinking like it was just a suicide.
Yeah. It
just came over. So, which means the cousin did do clean work.
Yeah.
Essentially, dude was right. My cousin does clean work. Like, I don't know how much he paid him, but it was a nice fat stack. It was something cool. Yeah. It was, Stringer gave him something cool to do, to do the hit. The hit was a sign of how menacing and evil Stringer could get when he had to do what he had to do. We saw a little bit with Wallace, because that was out of pocket. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. But we saw, because Wallace was only about 14. He was a baby when he killed that little dude. Yeah. He was a kid.
He was probably like 15.
15. Maybe
16
15.
at most. I don't even think it was 16.
For him to murder Wallace and then turn around and murder D'Angelo shows you that when it came down to it, he was willing to kill anybody.
Yeah, but he felt like Wallace was snitching.
Yeah. He felt Wallace was snitching.
Wallace disappeared for a while and then popped back up. So that's what they didn't like about that.
And he thought that Angelo would eventually, possibly, snitch. Honestly, the way I think is like, I don't think Angelo would have never snitched. I think Angelo was going to hold that 20 or 10 or whatever it was. Yeah. I feel like he didn't hate his family. He just didn't want to deal with it. Yeah, like you said, he was done with him. Yeah. But I don't feel like he had enough hatred to be like, I'm going to take the whole family down.
Right.
Because then that would affect his mama too.
Right.
So I don't think he would have done that. I think that Stringer overreacted in his actions of getting him killed, because if they'd have just, my opinion, if they just left him alone, he would just done the time.
Yeah.
He might have been turned into a dope fiend, because clearly he was doing dope in jail, but he wouldn't have snitched.
Yeah.
Stringer overused his power, and that power was overused because Avon was locked up also, so there was no checks and balances.
Right.
Stringer was doing some wild stuff. Stringer was just doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. I'm glad on that one part where they met, him and Avon met, Avon was like, do what you feel is necessary until I come home. He literally, until I come home. Meaning when I get there, I'm back.
Right. I'm
taking over.
I'm making all of the decisions.
Yeah, I'm doing it all. Because he said something to the fact that, if you got to deal with Prop Joe, do what you got to do until I get back.
Yeah.
So that was kind of dope that he actually told it to him just like that. So episode 7, Backwash. D'Angelo's funeral, Prop Joe was there. Prop Joe is a straight businessman.
Yeah.
Prop Joe, as soon as the funeral was over, he approaches Stringer, says, you know, I got the good stuff over here. We need to hook up and make some stuff happen. I send my condolences. But I feel like if it wasn't business related, Prop Joe would have never been at that funeral. I think Prop Joe came there with the intent to do business with Stringer. Like straight up. And Stringer, being as desperate as he was because he didn't have a good dope, kind of fell for it. It opened up a conversation that, according to Avon, should have never been opened up. Like, we don't deal with East Side.
Yeah.
We West Side, they East Side. Even if we got the worst dope, Avon's thinking probably is like, we don't ever want to be dependent on them. They're the enemy. Why would you?
You can't let them know we need them for nothing.
Like, why would you put yourself in that position to where you need your enemy to survive?
Right.
So Stringer didn't see it like that. Stringer seen it as he always, as business.
Business opportunity.
We just got to keep it rolling.